D, and I am here at a playground. I've been spending the morning with my littlest and contemplating life, getting a little bit of beautiful sunshine here in Vancouver. Oh my goodness. And I've been thinking a lot about emotions lately and all the work I've done on processing emotions and how challenging it was for me because I hadn't had role models for proper emotional regulation, feeling my feelings, my thoughts, and processing what was going on for me. And I'm not able to really recall how far back that goes. I'm sure at some point as a child I was able to feel things, but what I do recognize is since I've started doing this work, I've been feeling so much more, and it's been amazing. Like being able to feel the full spectrum of what's going on, even when you're annoyed or frustrated, is an amazing gift to have. And for fathers, I think that's often difficult because of the role models we have had, which includes society. I mean, if you think about movies right now, and in the past, you know, our role models have been John Wayne or Rambo, or, there's not too many super exciting movies about dads who are sensitive and help their boys and girls grow up to have like a responsible way to process their emotions. What this did to me was it actually prevented me from having proper communication skills with people that I loved, and it caused me to be not a very great role model. And so today I'm thinking a lot about this because I posted 2 nights ago, posted a video that really put forward what it is that I'm passionate about, what I want to be doing, and how I want to move forward, and all the work I've been doing as a father and as a partner in my life so that my family benefits, because that's ultimately what's most important to me. Is I'm not just a provider of finance or some chores around the house or taking care of the kids. I'm also a role model, and I want to be able to bring my children up so they don't have the same challenges that I've had. So until the day when my switch went off, like there was a light switch that went off in my head, and I realized that I wasn't even able to realize I was challenged. I don't know how loud that sports car is, but that's a beauty. And so when that light switch went off in my head, that was when I realized that there was a whole other world of emotions out there. So there's 3 things I really want to suggest for those of you who might be uncomfortable talking about your feelings. And fathers, I really want to put forward for you, I know that when you look at your kids, you have this amazing joy in your heart. And do you want to be on video? No. Okay. And so when you see your kids, you have this joy in your heart. And so we definitely can feel joy, right? Some other things bring us joy, whatever that might be for you. I'm not going to put a list out because I'll end up stereotyping and I don't want to, but your hobbies, your passions, there's definitely love and joy coming from our partners. The other thing that we know we can feel is frustration or annoyance and anger. And what I explained to my oldest son was that if you don't realize what feelings you're having, especially when they're on the spectrum of things that might trigger us or rub us the wrong way, if you're not able to express them out loud, think about them, realize them, acknowledge them, and process them, then what ends up happening is you bury them down, and it's a pressure cooker. And this is why, there's a stereotype of angry dads, because things can really kind of build up for us. So if you know you can feel emotion of joy when you see your kids, or do something with your partner, or have a beautiful day like today when it makes it really easy to feel good, then you can identify at least a few different emotions pretty easily. And I want to start with the idea, so 3 of you reached out, I really appreciate it, and all of you said the same thing, that emotional processing is difficult, or expressing it out loud. And I guess there's a compartmentalized line between that. I guess one side of that would be that you can feel emotions all right inside and you're not able to talk about them. And the other possibility is that you don't really have an ability to understand the wide range of emotions that are possible. So the first thing I want to say is go out there and look up the emotional wheel. I first was introduced to the emotion wheel, and there's a bunch of different varieties, but the idea is that they chunk up and chunk down. So they start with the emotions you're probably familiar with, happiness, sadness, anger, And then each of those, they break down to a number of different other emotions so that you just have an awareness around what kind of things you might be feeling. And a really great exercise you can do with that wheel is to read through it, think back on a time when maybe you weren't properly able to identify what was happening for you. You weren't properly able to speak about it to someone else, whether it's your boss or your partner. And maybe that's something that lingered in your mind. And go to the wheel, think about a time like that, and find an emotion on the wheel that you know you've had in the past, but because you weren't able to identify it and you didn't know about it, weren't able to speak to it. And just kind of bring some awareness around that particular emotion that you find on the wheel. And this might be an emotion that rubs you the wrong way. It might be an emotion that fills you up. And that's essentially the first thing I would suggest you can do. And so I just have some people going by here. The camera's facing this way, not outwards. One of the kids that was coming by started running because he thought I was videotaping him. And so the second step I want to say is, even if you can't identify it, separate yourself from whatever's going on. Whatever it is, if it's overwhelmed because you have so many exciting emotions, we might make poor decisions when we're overwhelmed. Purchasing something that we don't need, taking our lives in a direction because something seems shiny, And anticipation's an emotion, right? So if we don't recognize anticipation, what might happen is we might identify whatever's happening for us as this is the right thing to do. So stepping back from whatever's happening for you and giving yourself a chance to really think about what's going on, whether it's something triggered you, you're angry at something, you want to snap at someone, just take that moment to kind of step back and feel it differently. So that's the second thing, step away from whatever's happening. Third thing is, once you've stepped away, take a breather, feel whatever it is that's coming up and make a noise. It might be a loud noise. It might be a soft noise. It might just be a deep breath with a groan. But make a noise and actually move that emotion through you. Even if it's a giggle, you might just go, hee hee hee. That feels pretty good, doesn't it? And when you do that, the energy that emotion's causing is moving around. So that actually makes it a lot easier to feel it or think about it. I walk every day. I feel like I really need these walks. I think they clear my mind. They allow me to kind of see things a little differently. And it allows me to step back from reactionary work. Another type of noise you can do is actually just talk about it out loud, even if no one's around. If someone is around, disclaim to them that you're in a discovery and exploratory phase, and just ask them for some space. Try to never say things that are hurtful. And one of the key signs that you may be having challenges with processing your emotions is if you find yourself directing all of the feelings you're having at someone else, either being in the victim place or putting blame on someone else. And that's essentially a really key indicator that you might need some time to step back and just kind of think about what's going on for you. Anyway, I'm part of a exercise, a challenge that's going on right now. It's a 5-day challenge to go live. As you know, I did 75 days straight, but right now I'm trying to focus on content that is in my heart, things that are like very specific versus in the 75 hard, I often just rambled off about whatever I was talking about that day. And I want to think a little deeper about these things so I can kind of practice sharing what I've learned, what I've put together, and why the Finding Fathers experiences come together and what it is that I do in there. So that's what's going on today. So for those of you who asked about emotions, here's a little bit of a 3-step process. And for those of you fathers who never thought about it, hey, not all of us have problems with emotions. This is just one challenge that some fathers might have. And I'll talk to you soon. This is Mark D saying I love you. I hope you are well. Talk soon.